1-year-old Javi in the house.
Latino eat.
And we also have Susie, who is a lovely 25.
Okay, I'll take that.
Also playing is Paul. Javi has 2 belts. We're going to try to take them from him. Consider these his birthday licks. We're going to try to revisit some Mario Kart, followed by a quick game of Mario Party. So let's just jump right into it.
What do you guys want to do? Versus knockout?
We'll let you pick.
I'll let Paul pick because we haven't played with Paul for a long time.
Okay.
Grand Prix.
Alright, which one am
Move yours up and down. Just go here. There you sit.
Hold on. Something's not right. We're just the basic characters. We have so many more of them unlocked, right?
We should.
Okay, wait a minute. I was confused. We haven't played this in so long. I thought all the Marios were next to each other. They're not.
No. Whoa, when did
There's a lot more here.
I think is that the last one I unlocked?
I don't remember that one. And I don't remember the Yoshi and the swimwear.
Interesting.
I? I don't know who these characters are.
They were before your time. You're only 25, so you probably don't remember them. Most of them are characters you've seen. They just got different costumes on.
Oh, okay. You want to switch?
No, no, okay.
And let's get this volume up just a little bit more.
So do I pick one already?
Hit A.
And then you pick the car.
Oh.
Or motorcycle, or whatever.
Just more, you go to the right.
Wait, am I?
What are you feeling, Paul?
Oh, okay. Go down. Yeah, let's try that.
That one?
Yeah.
Do 100.
I didn't even see what you picked.
Shell cup.
Yeah. It's somewhat.
Didn't we do this before?
Probably. I mean, we've done all of these before.
Okay.
Okay.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go down A.
I haven't played this in so long that it just feels like the first time playing it.
Doesn't it though? I don't think we played it in like months. December was the last time we played it, maybe?
Well, my hope is that later on this year they finally give us like a real update with like characters and stages. Because the updates they've given so far have just been like tweaks to the gameplay. Stuff they should have done in the beginning, you know? But they haven't given anything new, like as far as costumes or content. And I get it. The knockout tour and the free roam is a lot to have offered, but the heart of Mario Kart has always been multiplayer. It's never been like the single player stuff. So even though I appreciate that stuff, it's kind of like I did it the first time, I don't care anymore. Like even now, it just looks weird with Wario in that pirate outfit. It's like, is that an NPC? Like, what am I looking at?
Up there.
I know, but I mean, like, why am I in the water and you guys aren't?
Because we passed you.
You guys were in the water at one point.
We were, but what I'm saying is it shows you your place on the
I'm trying
right.
to get out. Won't it keeps turning?
Okay.
Look,
Turn
see?
it. Okay, turn to your left.
See, it just gives me another.
I think you're holding the button wrong.
The wrong one.
It's the left hand.
This one.
Oh, my bad.
There you go.
Turn.
That's the one that controls. Yeah.
So y'all played me all this time.
Y'all
Y'all set
And
me
then
up.
if you use this one right here, you're allowed to use the mushrooms. It makes you go faster.
Ah, see?
Well, I feel like that one doesn't really count if she didn't really know what to do.
No, it's fine. Either way, I'll still be last.
You might have been a lot better than
Tenth or-
her. Yeah,
Not 24th, but
There's
10th.
three
Exactly.
more races. You'll be okay.
because 24th is last. You could have been at least like 10th or
You
something.
got a point.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
counts.
I'm moving up. Okay.
Whereas the other ones were cut through, they're like 0. But, you know. I do like that music. I don't think I've heard it in here before. I also don't know where to go. I'm just wasting stuff. I meant to hold that behind me. Instead, I wasted it.
Dang it.
Like, I like that tournament sound that it has.
Still 24.
It's okay, just remember to use your items to help you get a boost. That one right there, keep pressing the button over and over again. Keep pressing it over and over again until it's gone. Are you pressing the L button? L button is top left. Or
Yeah, I'm doing
Bottom.
top. Oh, there you go. Oh, 23, yeah.
23 and me.
Better than 24.
Still early. Oh,
That one right there, keep pressing it over and over again. I keep mashing it, keep tapping it.
oh,
It gives you a repeated boost.
swear I got lost for a second. I didn't even know where I was.
I did too. I'm looking at these zebras and I'm like, yo, they're in the way. It's just surreal to see like Yoshi, who's supposed to be a dinosaur, but you got actual lions, giraffes, elephants, and zebras. You're in Africa somewhere. Oh man, I almost fell in that water. I made a mistake there. I should have held that. You got first again. So good little cushion now.
Look at that. 9th place.
Hey, birthday.
That's much better. That's much better than 24.
I'll be able to talk trash soon.
It'll be real quick.
I know, right?
As long as you beat Paul, we'll be alright.
Okay.
Ah! Crown City, okay. Oh, I almost dropped this controller. You play this and you're like, why does the stage look just like the last one? And then you got to remember that it changes a little bit into it to what it's actually supposed to be.
What the hell was I supposed to... I
And
just got lost for a second.
And then the music is from Donkey Kong. So it's like random music. But, you know, I think Donkey Kong, I do think of like a jungle or somewhere in Africa or something like that. But then there's like a weird Golden Gate Bridge in the middle of it. Wow, who did that?
That sucks.
Oh, you're still in first.
Yeah, but I can move further.
Huh. I'm coming to get
And
you.
I had a red shell. That brought me to coins.
Who is shooting those? Chill, son. Ooh. No, you jerk! Oh, I thought that was the last lap on this one. Freaking Bowser Jr. Somebody hit me with some shells there.
That was me.
So shellfish.
Very selfish.
Get out of the tires, bro.
I was able to bust that blue. It's mine.
Oh, Paul got me on second this time. And y'all said, hey, as long as you beat Paul, he stepped it up.
That's cool. I already got 3 straight. Even if I come in 10th, I'm pretty sure I'm guaranteed.
Hurt my chances there. Paul jumped in front. Hurt my chances. 45-34. All right, let's see how this plays out. He said even if he comes in 10th, he says he wins, so we gotta make him come in 11th. By the way, those of you at home watching, we see you. Appreciate all of you supporting the channel. A couple of changes real quick. I don't know that I said it here publicly, but there should be ads on the streams from here on out. Talking with the lead at YouTube over my channel, we discussed earlier today that one of the opportunities I'm not taking advantage of is Fridays we're recording these 3-hour videos, and you know, glad that you guys watch them when you watch them, but some people aren't interested in sitting for 3 hours and watching everything. But in real time you might show up in spurts to look at what you look at, and while that's appreciated, it's not paying the bills. So that might not be a popular thing for some of y'all, but I'm gonna have ads show up, so you might miss certain things here or there as we play, and then when the ad is over, you might be like, wait, I didn't see how they got there, or when did this happen? After the live video is over with, usually I put up the clip of the game. So for example, Mario Game Night might be doing this in other games that may or may not be Mario related, but if you're only interested in Mario Kart, well, you'll see the Mario Kart video, and you shouldn't miss out on anything on the recording.
Oh.
Same thing with Mario Party. So just addressing that here.
Oh, you got first. I'll make sure you know. I'm gonna go shank someone on you. Your soul is mine. Ah!
All right, he's in 11th. You got to keep him there. You're supposed to hit him, not me, Paul. Jeez. What are y'all doing? Oh, Susie's in first now.
All
there
right,
you go.
Susie.
There you go.
I'm surprised. See how long that lasts.
Because I was like, what are y'all doing? And I noticed it was her that hit me.
Finished in 3rd.
I finished in
What's up?
7th. God, that's terrible.
Sorry, I didn't even know I was hitting you. I'm just-
That's alright. It's all good. It is all good.
But you got better. Started 24th and finished in 4th.
Yeah,
Yep.
practice makes perfect.
Paul beat me there by 3 points there. Okay.
The reigning king.
That's the warm up.
retains.
That's a warm up.
That's my birthday.
That's a warm up. You have to run it back.
I mean, we can. I'm still gonna win.
That's fine, but that's a warm up.
So we doing the same ones or different?
Different ones. He wanted to squeeze a win in and say, oh, I got it. I was like, this only spent 20 minutes. Not even 20 minutes.
Alright. You can pick a place now.
I don't even know what place he is. I'll let Paul pick, but I don't even know.
I picked it last time.
Alright, let me see this.
I'm gonna change vehicle.
Now I remember.
So what?
I do remember getting the pirate outfit.
I'm gonna change vehicles. I might regret it later, but I'll do it this time. So yes, we did get the Resident Evil, but the Resident Evil
What do you feel?
will be streamed at a different day.
Round six. Was that round
Ground City. That's the same
I think
one
that's what we just did,
six? Okay.
or at least we did some. Yeah, I think we just did that
we
one.
did that one.
Beach Stadium.
She wants. Go. No. Okay, so you're here. We gotta explain it to her. So the Shell Cup is what we did,
Okay.
and all 4 of those are in the Shell Cup.
Okay.
So if you remember, we started out in the water on the beach, then we went to where the animals were, then we did Crown City, then we did Peach Stadium. All that's in the same course. So
Okay.
you want to pick a different cup
Okay.
that has other stages like this one or some of the others. So you got to do all 4. We're not just doing one level.
But I pick which one we start with.
No,
No.
whatever your cup
Pick
you
whatever
pick, we're
cup
doing
you
all
want.
4 of those levels in it.
Whichever section of the map that they're showing. But right now he's in the top right hand corner of the map.
Okay. Sky High.
No, we're gonna run that. But let's just do that.
See where it says Star Cup, Flower Cup. You're picking the cup that we do, not the levels. But
Oh,
if you
down on the bottom.
but if you like the levels
my
that
bad. Okay.
if you like these levels, then just say Mushroom Cup. If you don't like those, then we'll pick a different one of these
I
cups.
was looking at the bottom. Okay.
So there's Mushroom, Flower, Star, Shell. We just did the Shell Cup.
That one right there.
That one?
No, not the light. Yeah, there.
Oh, she wanted to do the hardest one. All right.
Oh, that was hard. Oh.
Yeah, that's the last
That's
one.
fine.
Oh.
She gonna whoop y'all's ass.
No.
She ain't beating me.
Yeah, she might be right.
Sorry. I gotta respond to my mom.
By mom, he means mommy, girlfriend.
Mom.
No. We're for the internet.
¿Qué pasó, ma?
All right, we're gonna mute this real quick, and we'll be right back.
No. We good.
All right, we're back.
And here we go.
Just totally messed up my start.
Mine too. That's okay. We'll get it back.
I'm surprised I made that. They're like, not only will we let you make it, but you can keep the star. I'm happy with that. Hammer time.
Damn it. Damn it, Beavis. Here we go. Here we go.
This is always scary when you're like airborne. And the crazy thing is, there's like so much stuff in the foreground,
Yeah.
and these new Mario Karts, you can race on everything. The walls, you can jump and hop on some of the leaves, and those can be shortcuts. And some of these kids online know all of these things. So it's not about being the fastest, it's about knowing like the location.
Being the best, you know. I piss excellence. You're not first, you're last.
See, I just saw a shortcut there, but it's too late.
You in front of me. You're in front of me.
If you ain't first, you last.
That's right.
Dang, somebody passed me just because I didn't do the proper jump.
Shake and bake, baby. Shake and bake. Damn it, dude. Came fourth.
Whole damn time I'm looking for the pirate Wario, not realizing that's you right there, the mechanic dude. I was like, where is this son of a Crichton?
Yeah, I screwed myself in that one.
How'd you do on that one? How'd you do on that one, Susie?
15.
15th, okay.
Slipped it.
Well, that's not 24th. So.
Yeah.
Oh, you switched characters, that's why,
Yeah,
too.
and cards, too. I think that was
Probably.
So you probably messed up your rhythm. And you know, we see these things so infrequently, I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. I'm following everybody else. Until I figure out, like, oh, that's where it was last time. So now I'm in 20th. Awesome. Oh, Luigi squished me. How dare you? He had the audacity to look at me and squish me. Just can't believe he would do that to his own brother. I mean, you would think Luigi would have done that to a United Healthcare CEO, not me.
really? Yeah, what happened with that case anyway? Is it still going?
It's still going. He's still getting requests from women daily trying to get married and I think one of his friends came out and was like, yeah, the reason why he was so upset is because, you know, they're in Hawaii and they're hooking up with all these women, but he's got back problems. And so he's frustrated because, you know.
Who, Luigi got back home?
Yeah. Oh, there's 5 in this? Hammer Bro, get back here. Wow, somebody tried to assassinate me there. As I'm talking about the healthcare stuff. Javi, get back here.
Come on. Come on.
Nope, that's all you, bro.
Ah.
That is all you. I seen it. I was like, Javi can have that. You ain't first, you last.
Son of a bitch. There goes. There goes my ring.
I'm your poppy now.
What's my name?
El Diablo Negro. Es el capitán sensación, puta.
What did he just say?
You got me back up.
Captain Sensation.
Oh, okay.
Black Captain Sensation.
No, I said the Black Devil.
Oh,
I'm the
Lord.
Black Devil, the Captain Sensation. For those of you with closed caption, that's what was said. We're on day 2 of Duolingo. Duolingo. We're on day 2 of Duolingo with Dua Lipa. Because that spike shell left Javi levitating.
Oh man, I was close.
You were. I was like, oh, I seen it. I was like, I'll let him stay up there. I'm not going. Because I knew if I took the hit, you were just going to get first place. Because somebody is the little coin thing, and they're the ones that is staying up top this go around. Like last go around was Bowser Jr. This time it's that NPC. And I was like, is that Paul? And I kept looking, and I was like, no, it's not Paul.
Somebody get fired, bold. Boom, boom. Bow, bow.
Oh, this is dope. I'm on the power line.
Well, I'm in 20s, okay. Not good.
I am not far from you. 18.
Oh, here we go. This is where I get my shit back. Jeez, that took a lot of... These hard levels are fucking hard.
So y'all never went to the club yet?
Never went to the what?
It's just been a while since we played.
Oh, yeah. I think the last time we played, Jonas might have still been
I
playing.
think it was November, December.
I felt like we played once this year, at least. But
No,
you don't think we played it all in 2026?
I don't remember. Then again, I was gone for a month.
I don't think we played it all while you were gone, so I know that.
So it had to have been December.
I'll be gone till December. I'll be gone till December.
Tell my brother I'll be gone to November. January, February, March, April, May. I see you crying, you girl, I can't stay.
Dang it, y'all let Javi pass. Ugh.
Boom, bitch. Give it to me.
There's still one more lap, ain't there?
No. Give me that.
Ooh, those bananas were everywhere. Somebody's just dropping them.
Gotta be donkey. Donkey.
Uh-oh, there it is. There it is. Why did it come for me? It should have come for you. I wasn't in first.
I don't.
That's bull.
Sounds fair to me.
That is bull, son.
Take it.
That is some bull.
I just need to make sure I finish it first.
That was
One
bull.
more time.
Talk about Montreal screw jobs.
That's a wrestling thing.
Oh.
It stopped right at me, and I'm in second. I'm like, yo, he's right there in first. What does that do? That changes the game dramatically now.
Yeah, you're only up by 6.
Yeah. I should have been up by much more than that if I'd have just got like 4th even.
I need first place. I need first place. Gotta take it. Gotta take it.
This is the last one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. That was just so crazy they did me like that. No item. Wow. Can do this though. It's not out of the realm of possibility. It's like,
What the hell?
it's like if your name is on the Epstein files 1,000 times, likely that you've been there. So it's likely we can do this.
That just made no sense. I was literally like 3rd, and now I'm all the way to 15th. All these fuckers passed me real quick.
I don't know what's happening. I'm just floating. I'm just going with it. And I feel like I see everybody that's in front of me right here on the screen at the same time.
Conspiracy.
Jumped on somebody's head. Okay.
How am I still stuck at 15? Come on.
Stay there. It's a good spot for you.
Yeah.
Light him up. Light him up. Light him up. Light him. Oh, who did that? Freaking Birdo. Who? Oh, you're Susie's Birdo.
It was me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's all good. You gotta do what you gotta do.
I didn't even know what I did.
Do it again.
But there's a guy with a red baseball cap. That's the one you want to look out for.
Oh, you mean Mario?
No, I have a different color hat on in this game. But they severely nerfed the boomerang in this now. It was terrible. Okay, I see him now. Oh, Paul passed us. I was like, how am I dropping places? It's so serene at this point.
Choo choo.
Wow. stuff of nightmares right here. I'm just like so scared of all of this.
You're right behind me.
I know.
Shit.
I see what you're doing. You're locked and loaded, but what do you want more? You want first, or you want me to be way behind you? That's the key.
Neither.
Well, you have to choose one. Because you're done now. Oh my gosh. Where did that blue shell go?
It's gone.
Did I deflect it?
No, I hit my red.
That's not how it should have worked. Oh my gosh, I screwed up majorly now. I screwed up so badly now. I lost. Oh, for some reason I thought that was the last lap. So there. Okay, that should slow him down some. Stressful. He's just up there cruising in first, man. Yes! Yes! Yes!
We'll have a chance.
You still have a chance, but the fact that it even did that was wild because...
No, you got it. I don't have anything.
Well, Paul is still lingering there. Paul, you need to be using those items you got. You had a red shell you should have launched to get higher.
So close.
You were, man. Hey, I gotta give it
So
to you though. You did everything that you
Hey,
needed
I'm
to do
still
to get back
playing
in there.
Here you go,
No,
sir.
let's let her finish first. At least she's learning how to
At least I'm
play
playing.
it. Because we...
Thank you. Now y'all can hug and.
No, that's as close. That's as close as it's been in a minute. We got your birthday boy here, Hobby, defending his belt for so long, and then you got the birthday girl here, figuring out how to get back into this. We haven't played this Mario Kart in forever, but he came back. He came back and made a game of it, 52-43, and so yeah, the champ. We back, baby. We back! We back. Bryce, where you at? Jamie, where you at? I see you. Alright, we gotta take that other one from him now. He's got one more.
So this virtual boy, this is like, what is it? It's not virtual boy.
Oh man, the
This is that
screen.
old school one?
It did. It actually crashed, so nobody saw us win.
Dude.
It actually crashed. But here's the results here for those of you at home who didn't get to see it.
So you were saying this, it doesn't count.
you wish. A blue shell hit him at the very end and screwed him, just like it screwed me in the lap before that. And the final results here were pretty much a 9-point lead because I came in right. I still got first, even though I was behind him most of the race.
Yeah, the first two laps really screwed me. Or the first two races. finishing in 8th.
He says, "Why is the screen black?" Yeah, it froze. Sorry, y'all. It should be working now, though.
Because it can't be white. That's why.
Okay. All right, look. So we're gonna move on to another game. We're gonna finally go into the Mario Party, and we'll see you here in a second. We will return. Actually, leave that up there. Make sure y'all subscribe.
Every time I thought I had it, it just jumped over.
Woo! I'm just hoping I didn't use all my luck. Please don't let me use all my luck. I'd rather have the Mario Kart belt. I don't really give a crap about or I'd rather have the Mario Party belt. I don't give a crap about the Mario Kart one that much. No camera on, but I'm gonna turn the camera on for you. It's your boy! But yeah, thank y'all for coming out. Alright, let's go ahead and switch it to Jamboree. Alright, once again, it's other yellow hat guy here, back with another video. And we've got Javi, aka Latino Heat, in the house on his birthday. We've got Paul here. We've got Susie here in the house, who it's actually her birthday. And in maybe another hour, it's Javi's birthday.
Yeah.
So we're going to jump into some Jamboree TV. If you've been watching this whole time, you saw Javi finally defend his title against Mario Kart. If you don't know how that went, well,
I'm crying.
You might not have known because the screen went black. At least that's what some of y'all are telling us. But you've got the controls, so go ahead and go into Jamboree.
Jamboree TV.
That's his tactic to make you sleepy, so that you start saying, "Oh, would you like to purchase a star?" No, and then you pull a Paul. So go ahead, Javi. Go ahead and go through these menus and everything. Just put 4. Yep. And just go down to yeah. Actually, let's just switch. It's much easier. Since it's already on my profile and everything anyway.
You know what you're doing.
Never have a cookie?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know whose cookies they are. Well, do we want to show the face? Because you're not in the frame. You gotta move in.
I'm okay.
Okay, well just pick you pick the heart, I guess. Paul, you need to move in the frame so it can know where you are.
There he is.
And then Javi, you can just, I guess, pick the
heart.
Sorry.
How am I still out of the frame like that?
Oh.
Gosh.
Oh. I did not mean to do that. Oh, it's me. Who's in the yellow?
Me.
Oh.
Like the heart is just flickering. It's like a heart. It's like a heartbeat.
Look at the finger.
Glad you could join us. Yep. Oh, we're gonna skip through that. We're just gonna go straight to the contestants.
Let's do this.
You can have it.
Wow.
I'll try to start with you.
No, I'll get it.
And the person who is Wario does have his Wario hat on today.
I need to dress up as him for Halloween. I'll let the mustache grow and everything.
I feel like you can get those on eBay, but at the sacrifice of like ripping off your actual mustache.
Yeah.
Because I know I have some of those mustaches somewhere. And it was like getting a wax job. I was like, nope, not doing it. Now, had I thought, I should have just shaved my mustache off and then put that one on. Because what you don't think about is, oh, you've taken it off, and now it's not as effective because it's got your hair already on it.
Where to? Good luck, everybody.
Alright, so as tradition goes, the champ gets to pick where we go. The champ is still
here.
Javi, so
The
Javi.
champ is here.
Mario Party.
Could you imagine how creepy that would be if like actual flowers talked to you and looked like that? Like you're in your yard mowing, you know, something run one over. It's, ow! Stop that! It's like now I'm running you over on purpose now.
No, there's actually plants that actually move too. So I went to Jamaica and I touched the plant and it closed up. I don't know what that plant.
Alright, where do you want to go, man?
Go to the mall.
The mall! He wants to go shopping at the mall. Now these are characters everybody wanted, right? You wanted Pauline and Paul wanted Donkey Kong? Okay. What do you want for the settings, bro?
I think we keep it short, Dan.
Okay. We're going to turn this off. We're going to put it on vote. And then we'll run it like that and start.
Cinnamon. I can smell it.
Here, Cindy.
You know why I pulled you over? Because you can smell it.
It's my dog. Oh, that's
Your dog's name?
dog's name. Cinnamon. Oh.
Oh,
Yeah, I wasn't just being weird for the sake of being weird.
Oh, okay.
Picking at her whenever somebody's
He's
listening.
just jealous because look, she gives the best kisses on
okay. You got a dog and 2 cats? Or
3 cats.
3 cats?
And 1 dog.
Yeah, and everybody at home is like, white people kissing dogs.
I kiss my dogs.
They all get along together.
Don't help her out here.
Look at that baby. Look
They're
at
my boys.
Does she shed?
a little
Probably.
bit. A little bit. And the kitties.
Oh, that's the.
That's the boo.
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh, she's a picture.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I was hoping she would get a 9.
Look how cute she is. That's what she said.
Oh my goodness. She has her own bed or she's on your bed?
She's on my bed. When I'm home, she's
Look, later on, like, bitch, get out my spot.
Hey, she's like a little heater too.
Oh, Lord.
And to that I say,
I didn't hear it.
you didn't hear it?
Oh, baby.
Here we go.
It's so far away, I can't hear it.
Alright, I'm gonna move it closer so you can hear it.
Oh, no, for me. Oh, no, for me.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, nobody else heard it.
No way. Absolutely. No.
She's Anthony's dog anyway.
I think he's here watching, so.
Maybe.
10 coins.
7 coins. Okay.
That works. Just gotta win that mini game. We're good. At least 3 coins from the mini game.
Awesome. Exactly what I wanted.
10.
Yeah, I'll take that. Whoever I see Pauline here, I keep thinking Ann is here because that's who Ann picks as well.
Oh, yeah.
So you're gonna roll the dice. So hit that. Oh, yeah, it's right there.
Press A.
Hold on. Before you hit anything, 2 things. You can tap it and just hit something, or if you hold the A button, it kind of juggles like you shaking the dice.
Spins faster.
Spins faster. So pick your poison on how you want that to play out.
Yeah, let go.
It doesn't always help you when you spin it faster. I just wanted you to know this how it works.
And then hit your button again.
Okay, there you go.
That's a good dice.
Yep. You didn't have to pay for that, so that's good.
Subscribe. 15 coins for Paul. I only got 12.
Hold up. How come I didn't get that stuff?
Because you didn't.
You didn't roll far enough.
Minigame.
This is basically, if you remember, this is basically like Monopoly.
Oh, okay.
So it's about to be
Instead of getting to the end of the board, you're trying to get to the star, wherever that is.
Okay.
But you gotta have enough money to buy the star.
Now choose what type of game you want to play.
Of course, Paul's gonna choose camera rate. Oh, thank God. So this one is gonna be finger intensive. So hopefully your fingering is really good. You gotta mash the heck out of this button here.
Press A.
Hey, okay.
And then, however fast you hit or whatever, so shoot.
Hey, who's that?
That was me, but Leonard's actually faster.
All right, y'all.
Practice. We're talking about practice.
Practice.
Like your pressure.
Not the game. Not the thing we love. The thing we
Practice.
die for. Practice.
I started like that. Is there another one? No.
This is just practice. You have to press A to start.
Looks like we're waiting on Mario.
No, you're not. I just said okay. Waiting on Mario, and there's 3 other people who didn't press okay.
And then hit your last
Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
Okay, so which one?
Hit plus the start.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a real thing.
Oh.
Start.
I hear you.
My finger slipped. My finger slipped.
Give me that.
My finger slipped off the controller twice.
Yeah,
so.
I know. That's all. Oh shit! And you still beat me, my man.
I looked down. I was like, "Oh, not on the button!" Because I could hear everybody else clicking while I wasn't. I was like,
Oh.
let's get back in. Let's get back in. More money.
I got 20. I got.
You got 20 out of that?
I got 20 already.
No, not from that though.
New turn.
No, because I had 7 from the
Okay, yeah. I thought you were saying you got 20 from that right there.
Luigi.
Jamboree.
Mr. United Healthcare himself has returned.
No, thank you, Luigi.
So what you got to remember here is, if you get one of these buddies that show up randomly, you can get an opportunity to buy 2 stars. Not only that, but they have different abilities that can help you move around the board, either stealing items or, in his case, when you roll a dice, he might punch it to roll higher, or it could backfire and roll lower, depending on. And it doesn't usually roll lower; it usually just stays where it's at when it hits it. If it doesn't go forward.
Oh, fuck.
You want to ride it? Spend that money, Poppy.
I can't. Oh, shit. I just realized that, too. I don't have enough.
What does that mean?
So
Even
you
when I
need
go
20
up-
coins to buy a star.
Yeah.
He has exactly 20. So if he has to give 5, he's the kid wanting to buy the candy bar for $1, and then they find out, oh, there's taxes. Oh, you can't get it. It's $1.25. You only got $1. You got to put it back. So he's choosing not to go up there.
Put my glasses.
It's okay. We're here to walk you through it. I know you haven't played it probably in several months too.
Years.
See, because what happens is Paul will win and then disappear, and then show up again and be like, wait, how do I play this again? I forgot what to do. Because Paul knows there's insurmountable pressure to keep winning once you do win. Because Paul's won this before. I think maybe once or twice at least.
Now I should have enough.
Oh, okay.
Well, we have more than enough now.
I do, but
You just
you're
gotta-
right there with me. You just circle back. I don't have any items like you to help me out.
Yeah.
We're not going that way. We're going this way. Maybe I can get an item now.
I mean, even Paul. Paul has.
Yeah! Yeah, baby. I really wanted like a double dice, but Paul has the double dice. Paul might be able to get
Paul
this.
needs-
Susie has it. Susie has it.
Oh, Susie has it, but she only has 10 coins. Damn.
Okay, so when you use double dice, that means you can go 2 times further. No,
But reminder, she only has 10 coins.
but you have 10 coins right now.
Yeah, all you want to do is just hit the dice.
Okay, so what?
Press A, and then just press A again whenever you're ready.
I thought it was Paul that had it. Sorry.
Oh, come on.
It's you still need like 10 coins, 15 coins, 5 to get up there, and then 20 to get the star. But it'll move like once one of us gets it, the star moves somewhere else.
And it might move back downstairs if you're downstairs.
Yeah.
Alternatively, it might move to the left side of the mall or the right side. You just never know. Oh, sled to the edge.
Sled to the edge.
For you Jonas fans, Jonas is not here, but he wishes you all well and encourages you to sleep with as many prostitutes as possible.
Well, we gotta start tonight then.
For some reason, when I look at the graphics on this, I don't know if it's changed between how it was on Switch 1 versus Switch 2, but like the light feels like it's like brighter ice. Like I get nervous, like I'm actually about to drive on it. Like no, I don't want to spin up.
Because we had so much ice.
Yeah, maybe we had so much ice recently. I don't know.
And everything has to go down.
So your goal is, this is chicken.
Looks like we're waiting on
You want to mash the button as close as you can to not falling off the edge.
Oh, okay.
So all of us are going to try to, in our internal clock, think, oh, this is a good spot.
Okay.
Whoever comes the closest to the edge without going off is the winner. So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm going to stand in the street and wait for the car to hit me, and the person who was the closest to the car without getting hit is the winner.
Looks like
Don't
we're
play that
waiting
game
on
at home, kids.
Yeah, don't play that. Here we go. Warning, some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Also, The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers, commentators, expert, and/or hosts. They do not explicitly nor necessarily reflect nor represent the channel's policy or the views held by the channel or broadcaster. The broadcaster or his channel cannot be held accountable for all or any views expressed during this program. Viewer discretion, as always, is advised.
Island.
Yep. I was just in time.
Wait, that's not me.
No.
This is just the
Oh.
intro to it.
Yeah.
Start.
That heart is messing with my eyes, man. Oh, Susie won.
No, no.
Oh, Javi won.
Finish.
Right on, Paul.
Fish is Paul's a safe spot. Right there.
I
Wow.
thought for a second I was like, did I go too?
Did you finish too early? Yeah, that's what she said. We got to get that in there.
Oh, Lord.
You definitely released too early.
That's what she does. No,
2 more turns to the flash sale. Okay. So that helped him get a bunch of coins that he needed. And now he's going to try to get that star. Damn. Wow, he did it. He did it. Just go to the right.
Yes, take me there.
You know, he should charge you more coins for like going around the first time and not doing it.
He should, but he won't. Very nice.
You got a star.
Alright, congrats. Only because it's your birthday you get that. Any other day you don't get anything. No soup for you! Come back! 1 week!
3 years. What?
And the sad thing is I already passed that. I already passed the ramp to go up. Three turns went by and nobody went upstairs until just now?
Ooh, what'd I do?
You got the gold store, but you don't have enough money.
I got 14.
Well, you don't have enough for the golden pipe, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I got double dice.
Yeah, true. We all know everyone wants the golden pipe.
Yeah, lay that pipe.
And I've already got one.
Ta-ding.
She's doing what?
You're supposed to co-sign that ish.
Wait, I missed. I didn't know what you're saying.
Yeah, Vicky.
Oh, you supposed to co-sign. Like, what? I don't get it. What pipe? You talking about,
Sexual, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Johnson.
Does that put me further away? 5 spots closer. Sure.
Oatmeal radio. Yep.
I do need that.
That was one that's underneath.
Uh,
I didn't put it.
oh,
Those are.
okay.
Okay, I'll take it.
Showdown minigame.
Oh.
She might finish it before the game's over. Father, will you help me? We've got to beat these cheating bastards. We've got to show them there's only one true yellow hat guy.
I don't know. I've never played this game, have I?
You've played it before. It's just been a while.
I have to pick the right door.
Yep. It just feels weird because we usually skip the intro. I don't think we've watched the intro to this in a while. So they should give me some kind of advantage. And it looks like I do. So what you're trying to do is make the picture in the proper order. So you gotta choose the panels.
Over there in the back.
You gotta pick up, Susie, go ahead and move and try to pick up the pictures. And you gotta put it in the proper order, how it's supposed to look.
One of them is not right.
How do you pick it up? Oh, I got it.
Hold the A button.
Put that one in the middle.
Well, we've got a record high of 10 looking at us right now. This is awesome.
Not that one. Not that one.
Hopefully the stream doesn't crash out.
It's not the right one. What the hell?
I'll give you a hint. It's supposed to be a chain shot. The bomb is not supposed to be in the picture at all. It's the chain shot with the whole chain in the picture.
Looks like we're waiting on Wario.
Sorry.
I just don't want to look at this the whole time, so I'm like finally using it to do something.
Looks like we're waiting on Pauline.
Is this my drink? Whose drink is this?
Not
Somebody?
mine.
Not mine.
You got a tea? I guess it's mine now. Trying to not drink tea today. But that was mine from earlier. And then I got another drink that, I don't know, did you put that up somewhere? Probably in
Looks like we're waiting on
the
Pauline.
kitchen here.
Did we bring it in?
This one. Because
I
those two
did
are
that
matching.
one already. This one? I did that one
No,
already.
this one.
Okay.
Yeah, up close, yeah, it's really different. Yeah, you can really see it now. That one.
Oh, these don't even open.
Looks like we're waiting on Pauline.
What? I'm already out.
You have to press the
Oh,
start
it's
button.
another one. Sorry, damn, I'm in a different one. You can't make this screen bigger?
Nope, unfortunately.
I can get up.
Now, this is practice, so the screen is going to increase when you actually do the real thing. But if you're not familiar with this, I would recommend you pull up the chairs and to help you out. Y'all be patient with us. This is her first time playing this particular game, so we're trying to at least give her a fair chance at winning.
Let me just walk over. Question.
Oh,
The next question again. And then question. There you go.
whatever you say.
So, Paul, you need to start over.
Looks like we're waiting on Pauline.
Oh,
You missed the shark mouth in the front.
oh, okay, I see.
Looks like we're waiting on Pauline. Looks like we're waiting on Pauline.
What happened?
It starts over when you use a certain amount of time. Yeah.
Okay.
So, get the idea.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. Whatever.
You press the plus button whenever you're ready.
Okay.
All right, I feel left out. I'm gonna stand up too. Everybody
It's a little
stand
bit
up.
harder.
Start.
Me too.
You must got some good vision.
Oh.
I don't know who brought those Girl Scout cookies, but I kind of
I
want
think it
them.
might have been Jamie.
Yeah.
No, this one. This is the one everybody's usually quiet on because it's so intense. I'm only talking because I'm pretty much in the lead here.
What gave you that idea?
Oh, just because.
Because you're in the lead? Yeah. I mean, this guy. At least as long as I can get second, I'll be alright.
You ain't gotta worry about me.
Dang it. Coin. Block. Oh. Mushroom block. There we go. Oh, that was close. I almost screwed that one up twice. Clear the path. Alright, this is the hard one right here. What the crap? That's not it. One of them's going before that. Oh, dummy, it's already been selected. That's why. Can't freaking see it.
Finish.
Yes!
Come on, man.
Javi was right there.
I couldn't get it, man.
I was watching Javi's screen like, what the hell is happening? I'm about to lose. Oh my gosh. Woo! I was watching Homeboy's screen like, tell me he's got two more left. Tell me he's got two more left. Because if he's got one more left, I'm screwed because I had to back out because because I couldn't see the shapes. And I looked at your screen like, does she have the same shapes as me? No, you had different shapes than me.
I was behind, okay?
But we were all at the end. That was the last one.
But we forget that this was just for Luigi.
This is just for Luigi, yes. So what happens now is I get Luigi since I won the game. But if one of you pass me, you take him.
Without having to play.
Without having to do anything, you take him with you.
Do I have to stand back up or
It's up to you.
see if I can see?
I'm gonna have to do this. I don't want to do it, but I do want to get to the star.
Versus minigame.
It's time for players to pull the coins and have a minigame battle.
I only got 4 coins.
The number of coins you get depends on how you do. Decide how many coins to wager.
That's cool. I got 4.
I should have hit more so Paul couldn't get a star either if I won. Oh!
I like this one.
Isn't this a hobby game?
Yeah.
Darn Chanel's.
All you gotta do is fill out the whole paper. And if somebody's after you, fill their stuff out too. Like so.
Looking at this game makes me sleepy.
Oh, right, okay. What, you doing A or B?
Hey,
Do A and
A.
move around.
What you
Yes, if you press A.
So the
Oh,
the
like
controls are right here telling you what to do.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Looks like we're waiting on Pauline.
What do you mean? I'm not here working.
Yeah, but if you don't press the plus button.
Oh, okay.
But once you post it,
Okay. Start.
Try to make the most money your color on the page. Yeah.
Oh,
We
tied.
That's
I'll take it.
Paul came back and stole some of mine. That's what happened. Because I was stealing his, so I can't be mad. I can't be mad.
I'll get the server out. Oh, do I do? Yeah, there you go.
Oh, they at least gave Susie one.
Most of the time I get zeros. So.
It's my birthday, that's fine.
No.
Okay.
So,
No,
dice, what?
no, I went for
You only want to use that when you have the money to buy a star.
Right.
So if the star is 10 away and you got a double dice, you got a good chance of getting 10. But if you don't have enough money to get what you need, you're wasting the opportunity.
Just do a regular dice. That right there, yeah.
See at the bottom by your character, it has 9 for the coins. You don't have enough coins to buy. Your character's...
Oh, I took the left, okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's a better start. They've been screwing you over like they did me last game.
You go up over the bridge, or
She already chose the bridge.
Nope, I should not have.
You can. It's only 1 coin.
you can buy something.
It's a 1 coin store.
You can get a mushroom.
So let me explain what those do real quick to save time. This one right here is a cursed dice. What it does is it limits the availability that you can go to. So normally the dice is like 1 through 10. This one is 1 through 3.
Okay.
So what you can do is put that on somebody, one of us, if we're in a bad spot where if we land on a bad square that's 1 or 3 away, you would put that on us and we might get screwed over. Or you can put it on yourself if you want to land only 1 to 3 spaces. That's what that does. The mushroom lets you use 5 additional spaces. So if you roll a 4 and you use the mushroom, then you get 9, etc.
Put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
This one is a coin trap. If somebody lands on it and you put it down, they give you 10 coins. That's what all 3 of those do.
Yeah, it's such a pretty face.
So which one?
Now it's all.
Which one do you
Went through a spaghetti
Now it's all
string.
spaghetti.
And say A again when you bought something.
And then you might get more coins.
It'd be crazy if she got the 12
15.
coins.
She'll probably get 15. No, 10. Yeah. Now you have.
That was a good turn for you. You got an item, and you got coins out of it.
Oh,
Yes, Paul, wake your monkey ass up.
Go straight.
Buy something, will ya? Paul is finally able to get an item.
So greedy. I get the double dice.
So let me explain these in case you get to the store and want to know. Obviously, that's a double dice. You know what that is. This is a markup. This is like a tariff. That's what that is. So if you get that, it goes, whatever it is, goes up 200%. So when somebody else goes to the store, they got to pay 200% for whatever they want to buy in the store. Warp pipe lets you warp somewhere randomly. This warps you to where somebody else is randomly. This one warps you to a shop, which is a good convenient thing if you want to get to the shops. And this one, you can pick what you want to land on. So like if you want 9, you can move it to 9 and it'll make you roll 9. Looks like the capture froze again. Awesome. Gotta figure out what's going on with that thing.
And he got a double dice.
Minigame.
Jamie's not here, so we're doing snag the flags. At least that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
She would always want to do 3 throw.
Oh, my bad. What I do? Okay.
You pick whatever you want. I'm just telling you what I'm picking. Yay! Welcome to another episode of Snag the Flags. And to be clear, for those of our pronoun crew at the house, that's FLAGS.
Not F-A-G-S.
I don't see no flag. I'm running. I don't see no flag.
Girl.
Somebody had already started.
Oh. Wait, who's mine? Oh, I'm on the top.
Javi's killing it.
That's why.
Yeah, that's the practice.
Wait, did I hit A? No.
It's practice.
I was looking at the wrong one. There you go.
So many yellow lights like it's downtown Charlotte.
Yes, it's
Okay.
You gotta be quick.
Like that. Get away from. Oh, come on, man. Y'all wrong.
Hey, you chose the game.
I didn't choose
She
this.
did.
Okay.
Looks like we're waiting on Donkey Kong.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Paul.
Start.
Damn it. Dang it!
Is that all of them? Looks like all of them. Oh,
I got the last one.
I got the last one. We tied. That close.
Mo money, mo money, mo money, mo.
Have you seen the new trailer for Scary Movie?
New turn.
I've heard their ratings on it were bad.
It looks pretty good.
You think it's good? They're saying Courtney Cox has all the Botox and everything in her face.
Scary Movie.
Oh, I thought you were saying Scream. I'm
Not
talking
Scream.
about-
Scream, yeah, I
Sorry.
heard it was bad, yeah.
No, I have not seen the Scary Movie one. I'm gonna have to check that out.
I'm about to be midnight. How much time we got?
Probably another half hour. And by half hour, I mean like half hour if we speed through everything. That could be another 40, 45 minutes. You gotta remember, we're taking it slow to teach y'all,
Yeah.
so that's adding to the time.
Oh,
I'd rather you have a good time than us to just beat you and you hate the game.
Y'all beat me anyway.
You can still win.
I mean, that much is written.
Uh-huh.
So here's what I was talking about. He'll hit the dice and try to increase it, but it doesn't always work. But I got what I needed regardless.
Giggity, giggity, goo.
So you saw what I did there? Because I had a buddy with me, instead of getting 1 star, which is normal.
And he had enough points.
Yeah, I had enough money I could buy 2 of them. I didn't do like your husband and say no thank you and not get nothing and lose the game.
You got
I remember that day. Like, Paul, don't do it. And then it doesn't.
Oh my gosh, it always freezes when I do well. Stop the freezing. I got 2 stars. They're like, yeah, we know you're showing awesome moments during your stream, but guess what? We're not gonna show that.
Were there too many people on there or something?
No, it's. I think it's something wrong with the card and or the street the internet itself. There's certain games it does it, and other games it does not. Let's see. Closest competition is you right now. So. I'm sorry, I know it's your birthday.
It's fine. I ain't mad at you. I've done the same thing. What the hell? Oh, because there's 2, that's why.
No, I get to steal from Paul next. I'm gonna steal from Paul next, to be fair. I mean, I could steal from Susie because it's her birthday
I
too.
ain't got no points. Well, how much?
You got 18,
Okay.
but I'm gonna be nice and I'm gonna steal from Paul this go around. Oh, wow.
I think a lot of it has to do because you had Luigi.
Maybe, but
Otherwise, it would have been just.
usually you never see somebody steal that much. Usually like
it's
8
or
coins.
10, yeah.
That was a lot.
'Cause you got 15 from me.
Yeah. But Paul can't even buy a star now. I just. I'm sorry, Paul. It's just.
Think about Paul,
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
No, I hate the player. Fuck. We play
Okay.
for revenge, not win.
Where is the star? The star is
It's on the
downstairs.
bottom.
So if I say let me at it, that's going to hurt me. And it's 10 coins for the two of us? No, thank you.
And then you get another one.
I hope so.
Oh, wow.
That was a great turn for me. I robbed y'all of like
Yeah.
31 coins. Bought 2 stars.
Ooh,
Now,
she's right
you
there.
have a great chance, but she's too shy of the star. She's 2 coins shy.
Alright, just rock the block. Oh, jeez.
Now, this is going to hurt. You are going to get the star, or to the star, you can't buy it.
No. You go straight. Hey.
I wonder though. Because the next start, she'll be at the star. Could she buy it then?
Flash sale?
No. So, the star's 9 away, right?
Yeah.
So, oh no, because it's in between.
It's in between, so she can loop around again with her next turn.
Come back after.
Her next turn after a mini game, if she gets,
Yeah.
she'll have enough coins
Right
now.
there, now you have enough points.
But she has to loop around again.
Paul
But
might
Paul can't get it either.
That's right, you lost coins, Paul. I would just roll the dice. There's no point.
You're on the 2nd floor, and you can take the elevator downstairs to get to it. Or the escalator downstairs, excuse me.
Let's go ahead. Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
Good for you. Good for you.
did you take your metformin today?
Bonus minigame.
Now everybody
Me versus everybody, awesome.
Oh.
Ah, here it goes.
Okie dokie.
Alright, so you get snow.
Okay.
Oh. I'm doing what?
You make a snowball with B and then throw it with A.
How do I freeze myself?
You can't, once you get hit, it's over.
Hey, I didn't start it yet. You're wrong.
That's already.
Okay, how do I... Oh, come on!
Be quick, bro.
Give me a chance to throw it first. Okay. Now, thank you. Oh.
Looks like we're waiting on Wario.
Oh, she got me. The monkeys keep getting in my way. And they're helping Wario out a lot. They're lucky there's no friendly fire. Oh, dang, I'm screwed now.
Looks like we're waiting on Donkey Kong.
Oh my, I missed a wide open snowball. Wide open snowball I missed. I was like the Canadian hockey team with the empty net.
I didn't even think of it.
Looks like we're waiting on Donkey Kong.
Looks like we're waiting on Donkey Kong.
I get surprised.
That was the most we played that game, even though it was like practice.
Shit.
She did it. I
Got you. I got you. Good.
I was sitting there like, oh, I got him now. I was like, it's just her left. She got me. She got me right. Ooh.
You're like, that's the weakest link. Nope.
New turn.
Damn. I felt like I was one of these new rappers that gets murdered. I was like, damn. About to get away. That was fun. That was fun. Even though I lost that was fun. Oh, okay. He has a chance here to do something. Can he get a 13? Oh, well, there it is. There it is. That was awesome. He came up in the clutch.
Where's that?
I'm assuming it's... You want to go the other way. Yeah, it's less...
Very nice.
Okay, good stuff. And it keeps freezing. Son of a gun.
Oh, 10. Yeah. I don't spend that much.
How come you were able to get it? I can't.
Because you don't have enough money. And now it's a flash sale where everything is on sale. But
If
now he's got the star and it's moved somewhere else.
during your turn that you had, then you would have been able to have it. Oh, it's up there.
Am I over there?
0.
Tell me I'm close by there.
I don't think so.
He's 7 away from this one. This is a good turn for him if it works out. I like how his picture is showing Susie's face now. The top of her head.
Oh, what y'all do?
No, you probably moved into the frame of what he selected.
Oh,
Mario time.
20 away. Ew.
Yeah, you're not. 10.
Luigi, come
Yeah,
on.
That dude sucks.
Mangione is a better hitter than this one. The hell?
Why don't you
Hit and block, baby. Let's go. Star me, baby. Okay, I'll take that. 10 coins out of it. Now you're gonna get a star. I would hit the mushroom.
Yeah.
Select the mushroom. Yep. Hit A, and now roll the dice and see.
Yeah. 'Cause no matter what.
Because now you have enough money, and you should be able to roll more than a 2. More than a 1. Okay. Well, you got exactly what you needed.
Yeah.
2 plus 5 is 7.
You can buy another mushroom.
Yeah, I would buy something else. It's only
Yeah,
one
it's only
coin.
one coin.
Technically, it's like half a coin, but they're gonna round.
Yeah.
Hey.
And the store is only going to cost you 10 coins. Yep.
Go.
No,
No. Go that way.
There
Yeah.
you go. There it is.
There you go. Make sure you hit A. Yep. All right. Now this is Paul who's not on the board,
You got a star.
and it had you up there in the picture. Just hit the A. Yep. Oh my gosh, this thing is pissing me off.
Back down.
It's like it can't handle so many animations at once. So apologies for those at home watching it freeze up like that. Hopefully it's showing commercials or something when it does that. I don't know what it's doing. Oh, a hidden block.
Let's get a star. She just got a star. Oh, she got a lot of coins.
She got all her money back.
Hey.
She got all her money back that she spent. Oh, Paul's on the board now. 7 away, Paul. You better use that double dice.
Yeah. She went a 4 and a 3.
Paul, if you don't get the star, you're going to be laughed at for the next month.
Oh, please. Okay.
Oh, so close. No.
Because if Jamie was here and said a 1 and you got a 1,
No,
that was going to be it.
Oh,
Paul.
the other way. Other way.
That
There
way.
you go.
Yeah, keep going. No,
No.
I'd rather not.
Because it's right there. Like,
You want to continue going to the star. If you say go at it, you're going to go up.
I'd rather not. I'd rather not.
I'd rather not, Paul. Listen to
Rather
us.
not.
Oh, okay. That's it.
Yeah, you got it. There you go. Get the stamp, then you get the star.
Woo, if he would have said, let me at it, oh.
That'd been the ultimate ball.
Yeah, that would have been the ultimate Paul. You'd have to be Paul and change your name to Saul if you would have went up there. Okay,
You got a star.
there you go. We'll give you the 1 up for that one. So everybody's on the board at least. So this is still a close game.
Now we can steal stars.
Yeah, actually we can.
Oh, Jesus.
This feels like a long flash sale. I think it's because everybody got a star except for me during the flash sale. Usually it's like one person gets it and that's it.
So See you.
Yeah, that was a tough call because neither option was bad, but neither option was great. This works out giving you coins, but you could have also went to the stamp place and
And the flash show's over.
Minigame.
and I think Luigi's gonna leave me after this turn. I hate all of these games, so I'm gonna pick this one. Hate's such a strong word. I hate one of these games. I dislike the other two. And it picks the one that everybody likes the least. Okay.
Yeah.
Who picked that one?
I did.
It's not even worth practicing. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna hit start. Y'all figure it out.
It's a it's a hit or miss game.
It's showing you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even want to play. I really didn't. Triangle. We'll go for the third one. Oh, it's not it.
Not that one.
Do not pick the same one that I picked.
I wasn't trying to. How do I let it go?
You can't. You've already picked it. You gotta pick one of the other two.
Okay.
You got 5 seconds. 4 seconds.
Looks like we're waiting on Pauline.
Oh! It was the right one.
Okay.
That's how you play the game.
And that's it. The game's over after that.
Okay.
Everybody else is playing for nothing because they only give coins to the person who's first. So the rest of us have to endure this whole guessing game. And it's really just random. There's no skill to this. It's just paying attention to what worked before. Oh, see? He got through there. So now there's only one key.
Pauline.
There's only one key left.
Okay.
Let's see if it's this one. If it's not.
Really waiting on Paul, but it's okay.
Start.
Good. I want him to start first. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Middle one.
I wanted to put it in the middle one, but I didn't.
Oh.
I've pretty much forgotten what the other ones that were wrong were at this point.
Yeah, me too.
I think we did. Oh, we didn't do that one.
I guess Paul didn't forget.
So I'm gonna take one away.
Whatever.
Let's go ahead and take 2 away. Jeez. Finally, it's over. It's between you two.
Oh, yeah.
Finish.
Poor Hobby. His head looked like his yarn equivalent. No!
No, please.
Oh, we do get coins from that. I thought nobody gets coins. Other than the person who was in first
Only
place.
5 turns left.
Home stretch.
We all worn out.
Fierce competition. Now in the home stretch. Blue coins get okay. Yeah, whatever. Do all of that. So Pauline gets to choose what we do.
Really? What?
I would choose the very last one. So, okay, let's go through it. The first one player receives a mushroom. I think that's going to be random. The second one, all players receive a star steel trap. I don't know that you want to give everybody a trap, but you can if you want. Blue and red spaces double coins. So the red spaces are bad. So instead of losing 6 coins, you lose 12. And obviously, if blue spaces would give you 6, but would now give 12 if you pick that one. Add more Bowser spaces. Those are the bad spaces. Nobody's landed on them yet, but if you land on that, Bowser can not only take your coins, he can take your stars, he can move you different places. It's basically bad. The last one is the best one, in my opinion. This is my opinion. Because it's the chance time space, and whatever you do, you can swap coins and stars with people to change the whole game. And you don't have to swap with you. You could hit Paul's picture and make Paul give his stars to Hobby.
It's all a game of chance on that.
It's a game of chance. But if you're not in first place, it helps you get an opportunity to at least catch up, because you might not get my stars or Hobbies, but if it makes you get somebody's money, it might move you up. Or if you do get one of us, you could swap with us as well. You just never know. Or we could land on it and accidentally hit it and make it give you or anybody else. It basically randomizes the game. And of course, while I'm explaining that, it froze again. Awesome. So she did choose the chance time spaces. And it looks like there's 3 of them.
Yeah, that's pretty close together.
All downstairs. So if you want to avoid that, just don't come back downstairs. But something tells me the stars are going to end up, one of them is going to end up down there. It's not over yet, so do your best. He was with us a while. I feel like he showed up turn 3 and then got him, and then he was there. 18 away. Okay, here we go. Three-quarters of the way into the game. Will Javi defend his title? Stay tuned for more in the next episode of Will Paul Wake Up Z?
That's our bedtime.
Past Paul's bed. I've seen Paul sleep in a chair like this
Yeah, he's usually.
and then get up and go work on somebody's computer.
Yeah, he does.
Like
He
some
shuts
kind
down like at 10, 11.
of Leonardo da Vinci vampire. Right, what they say, Leonardo da Vinci would sleep on like 4 or 5 hours because he realized the older he got, his life was closer to the end than the beginning, so he would just kind of be on a strict time limit. And yeah, and he would just be in a chair probably like Paul, just okay, gotta get up and try to create something. So what? He had all the he had all the stamps, right?
I had to.
Oh,
12. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
happy birthday!
And now 41.
Mario time.
And I just took first place.
Okay, one more. I'll take it. Well, at least I used the other thing. Could have used the mushroom. Could have gave me 8 coins. Okay, so here again, I would use that double dice because you're 12 away. You have enough money. You need to collectively get a 12.
What? You said double dice.
Double dice, you didn't shoot double dice.
Hit the B button. Can you go back?
No.
I
Damn.
did double dice.
No, you didn't.
It's cool. You need more coins anyway.
No, she has 47 freaking coins.
Keep getting more. You'll be alright.
This guy. She could have had the star.
The top one, right? I did that.
No, the item is underneath it. See what he's about to do? Go ahead. When he picks where he's at, you'll see that it's underneath.
Star is 16.
See, where it says items, you were supposed to go down and pick the dice. Instead, you just went to the top one.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make it.
Javi.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll take it. Hit him with them tariffs. Hit him with them tariffs. That's sad. Mexican and hit with tariffs. That don't even make that ain't even right.
Mini game.
Who is it? It's Paul versus everybody? Okay, cookie cutters for sure. But Susie's never played this game.
Yeah, so I'm picking the boxer one. Is probably better.
I should have picked that one too, my bad. Oh, we got lucky there.
All you gotta do is stay away.
Stay away from Paul. Picture that. Picture Paul as Chris Brown right now.
Chris Brown.
Yeah. Or Ike Turner. If you need a more.
Oh, you got me.
Looks like we're waiting on Pauline.
Oh, sorry.
And Paul.
Of course, Paul's not doing it. He's wanting as much practice as possible.
Of course.
Start.
Abusive to women.
You ain't getting nothing.
Oh, wow.
Opposite sides, opposite sides.
I thought you were gonna juke him, but you just kept going. I was like, okay, good. Woo, woo, that was close. I'll take it. You're gonna need those coins anyway to pay that tariff.
Only 4 turns left.
$13 away. You can afford it. Use the mushroom and. Oh! What did it cost you? It cost me everything.
I was watching that the other day. You sleep already, Vicky?
Mm-hmm. Better not be golden pipes in there. But it's a markup for everything that he buys, right? Oh, that ain't terrible. See, the markup was on the store, but is it also on the star?
I don't think so. Good question, though.
Because see, it's still on you. It didn't go away. So it's like, well, how much is the star going to cost? That's what I'm curious. We've never seen this before where somebody's paying a markup sticker on a star. Oh, it is! 40 for a star! Holy crap! They doubled it!
I still have it, though.
Oh, that's cool, but...
Yeah. But yeah.
You got a star.
Fuck you, Paul.
The capture card at least got that on film. It didn't get me buying 2 stars, but it got him paying twice for a star. Who is over there on that side? I feel like I was, but now I'm going downstairs. Oh, he almost landed on that chance time.
Yeah.
Mario time.
38 away. Jeez Louise.
Now you're only 30.
Well, I'm hoping that I can just buy. Well, never mind. And when I buy, I meant like cash in my stamps, but I was nowhere near it.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I would just use the regular dice. Well, actually, no. I'd get the mushroom and then use the regular dice. That way, at least you get halfway there.
Also, there's only 3 turns left, so it makes no sense to hold all your items if you're not going to be able to use them.
You can take the elevator.
Yeah, if she goes left, it's more. So better off just going straight.
Where am I supposed to go? Down
Just go to the
Just
mushroom.
go straight.
Yeah, just hit A.
You can buy whatever you want. If
You
want.
can have whatever you like. freaking capture card, man.
Oh, you.
Does it say you have whatever you like, or you can buy whatever you like?
You can have whatever you like.
Okay, it is have. Okay.
Item minigame. Start.
Oh, is she gonna get to the second level? She did. Treasure chest, treasure. Oh, triple dice. Nice.
Finish.
She's getting all the good items.
Item.
Question is, will she have the time and money to use them?
No matter where you go, Paul, you're still 32 away.
Minigame.
Yes, I'm going to pick that one. Oh, of course you would.
I don't want to be jumping it the other way. It's easier.
Looks like me and Susie are the only ones who have sense on here. Ah! Why, Paul? You just wake up choosing violence?
Why not?
Yep, jump. Press B to land down and set up wave.
A and B.
Take A, then B. And A, then or the other. I'm sorry.
I did A.
I'm sorry.
Double tap.
Yep. But don't let the other waves hit you though. You gotta jump.
So basically, you press A to jump, but you tap A twice to create your own wave.
Block the wave.
No, so when you double jump, you make a wave yourself. Press A twice. Hold on, everybody stop. Everybody stop. Let her try to do it. See if for
But I
her.
still get hit by everybody else's wave.
Yes. I'm just teaching you. That's the gamble. You can avoid getting hit by jumping, or you can be crazy and make a bunch of waves and hope to hit everybody else. It's a balance of.
Where they hit you.
It's a balance of how to do it.
Start. Finish.
She won!
Oh,
Oh, okay. Alan, I just kept winning. I didn't know.
that's what's up.
Okay.
Wow, she hustled us. You've played this before.
No, I did
Not
not.
You did good though.
You've watched my videos. You there at home. Like, comment, subscribe,
Only
share.
3 turns left.
Tree. Give it to me. So close.
Yeah. Wonder if where he's landing though. Okay, so hey, you're gonna land on like that one with the balls that you get to pick for as many items as you bought.
Is it?
I think that's where you're going. Over there to the right. Oh, he's 5 points short.
Yeah, I don't want anything.
Mario time.
I mean, it really doesn't make a difference. Might as well at least buy something. Oh, this is annoying.
You could have got that 200% markup and then gave it to me in the next round.
I could have.
That would have been 40 forcibly.
She's got all these dice. Please use the triple dice.
Go down.
Use the triple.
No!
Ah! You just told me
He
you.
said
The triple.
you got
Oh, I
three
had
of
triple.
them.
Can I
Yeah.
go
it's
back?
okay.
No.
you-
I'm sorry.
You should hope you roll like a 9 and 8.
Oh.
Or 2 10s.
Sorry. So what do I do now?
hit A.
Yeah, all you gotta do is just put the dice.
Okay, okay.
You just need
7.
7 or above.
Woo! And it didn't capture that. Son of a bitch, man.
That's an extra coin. Oh, good.
She needed 17. She rolled 2 10s. They gave her an extra 10 coins for rolling 2. And it wasn't
No, go
captured
down,
on the
go
screen.
There you go.
She accidentally chose a double dice instead of a triple dice. That was clutch. That was... Oh. I hate that the capture card chooses those moments to mess up.
Go
And
straight. No.
No, go straight.
No.
No.
There you go.
Oh, that was...
Go up.
Oh, this is going to be bad. Did you see where she's landing?
Yeah, I see that.
So you're going to get a star, but it might get taken from you.
Or they take hard points.
At least
What
she's
are you
buying...
looking at? How you know?
It tells you where you're landing, the little icon. You're landing on a Bowser circle.
Oh.
But you're able to get the star first.
You know, somebody the other week was like, it sounds like he's saying, badass! And now I hear it. I can't unhear it now.
I think it was Jamie.
You got a star.
Okay. The calm before the storm. Now, whatever happens here might not just screw you over, it could screw all of us over. So where does it move the star?
Top middle.
Who is over there?
Nobody. Nobody.
I thought I was going that way, but I guess not.
I'm far from ready.
Well,
Or way.
Oh, there it is. Do well at it. Oh.
You gotta pray that you don't get anything wrong.
Hopefully you just take some coins.
unfortunately, that's not how
hopefully
this
it gives
game
you
works.
100 coins,
Oh.
which is not really anything. You just say, and throw you back.
Well, that's not the worst thing.
Yeah.
At least.
You lose them.
You get 31 coins at least. You get to keep 31. So the worst thing that could happen to you is you losing a star.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want that. Especially this late in the game. It's like Paul's got a chance.
Wow. Now you just need a 10 next roll.
Get the double dice. the double dice, dude. That's your best bet. Because if you don't reach it right now, you'll reach it the next round.
Or you can pick the custom and just pick a 10, but that costs 12 coins versus 5 coins.
Double doors.
How far away are you guys?
Oh, we're far. We're fucking far. Dude.
Well, you can view the board.
Even in the
Hit the Y button. You can see where we're at.
I'm like 40 plus away. See, we're on the right hand side.
I'm right next to you, but I don't have. Well, I do have an item. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. You should take your chances in getting the best item you can get.
I would still say double dice. Or no, because you can't. Yeah. Because you fall right behind them. That 200% markup would have been good against them. But
I'm going before
yeah,
him.
you're going before him.
Could have still got it and maybe used it another turn for somebody else.
Well, no, I think at that point there's nobody's closer.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's not like I was going to get there my next turn.
Is there a ghost area around there?
Yeah. Hey, he got 4th place store and he's in 4th place. As Jonas called it, the little penis store.
So, check this out. You're close enough now where I wouldn't buy any of that stuff. I would just wait, save it, and then you can steal a star.
I mean, that's true. He could still buy the markup.
No, but
I got 56.
no. Here's why I'm saying it like this. Keep it. You're gonna be close to the star anyway, just in case you're able to get it, and he's not.
Mm-hmm.
Then you
It's
get
too
the
late. He
star.
already bought it. But maybe he's gonna get some coins in the next minigame.
That's yeah.
I understand what you're saying. I would have done what you said. I would have still just bought the. These are mean to pick for her to do since she hasn't played these games.
It doesn't matter. I just want to win.
I understand. You should have picked the
It's
bullet
everybody
one.
against you. That's all.
It's everybody against you. Blame it on the crane. So your objective here is to, like, in the arcades, pick
all
the
those.
ball. We're trying to avoid you from grabbing us.
Yeah. Just move and press A.
Oh my god.
Yeah, move over. Come over.
Why?
Understand, you don't want the shy guys. You want us.
I don't know the shy guys.
The shy guys are the guys in yellow. Except for Wario. Obviously, you want Wario.
Just look for the
See, you got Paul just now. So now you want to try to get the rest of us before time runs out.
Looks like we're waiting on Pauline.
Okay.
Okay.
So you got it?
Pretty self-explanatory.
Is this area? Which one is this area?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Okay.
No.
Oh, God. See, it drops it. See, I don't get it.
But you don't want those guys anyway. You want the orange, blue, and the pink.
It's not raining.
Because you're picking the wrong people.
Yeah, you gotta get.
Oh, so close.
This one?
No. See the colors of the balls? They're orange, pink, and blue.
It's okay, you lost. Don't worry.
We were in the orange, pink, and blue balls. The bad ones were in the clear balls.
Okay.
But don't hang your head low. You're actually doing pretty good for somebody who hasn't been playing this like that.
Yoshi really.
You can still win this game. They have bonus stars that give. You landed on a negative spot. Nobody else did. They might give you an award for that. You just never know how it plays out. Oh, you're way away.
Told you.
I thought you were like only 20 away.
No. At this point, I just gotta hit and get something good. My whole thing is just winning the mini games. You're gonna get 6 and 6.
Maybe, but I don't care. The game's pretty much out of our control.
Yeah.
I think what happens here, you just have to.
Looks like you're gonna get the star, Paul.
Yeah. I'm gonna at least get to a store, just not the store I want to get to.
Dual minigame.
Ooh, what are you fighting for? Take his money. Take all his money.
I could be that guy and do that. Because if he's gonna get to the star, if I take 18 from him, he can't buy anything. But he can still steal coins for free.
So I'm saying take everything.
No, I don't want to do him like that. I am going to hit him at like 25, though. That'll at least keep me at 60. But that doesn't mean I'm going to win. Paul might be hustling me.
I'm rooting for you, Paul. I need you to win.
Oh, okay.
Oh, dude, you can definitely win this one. It's all about getting up there at the right time.
Oh.
And usually I'm on the watching end of this. I'm never having to do it, so it looks easier than it actually is. For a second, I was like, are we hitting the A button here? What are we doing? Looks like we're waiting on Donkey Kong. But, you know, it could have been like bowling or something. That's why I was scared to take everything from him. Because that bowling one is...
Looks like we're waiting on Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong's practice.
Looks like we're waiting on Donkey
So far, you
Kong.
beat him every single round.
Yeah, Paul, you beat me every round. You've got this.
You got this, Paul. I believe in you.
3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, wow. I'm in some kind of loop here.
There you go, Paul. There you go, Paul. You got this, Paul.
I think he won.
Yeah, by an inch.
No, he lost.
But you want? Oh,
What the hell?
oh.
What the hell's wrong with you, Paul? You had it.
Yeah, we know. I can't buy anything. I'm not in last place.
Now you can use the triple dice.
Yes.
Let's see.
Go over. This one, yeah. Now, you'll still probably not get 35,
Freezing.
but you might as well use it here if nowhere else. Oh!
You had it. Still good.
Okay, 15. 20 away. Let's see where she lands. Oh my gosh, this thing keeps screwing me.
Straight.
Yeah. Well, Paul, you might as well just do what you use the triple and get the star at least.
Yeah. I would do that.
I didn't take all your money. I let you be able to get a star, and
Get the triple dice.
you're going to get to the ghost house, so you can steal.
a lot of it back.
You can steal some coins from either me or Javi, but probably me because I stole coins from you, so I'm not mad at you for stealing back. And really, I should have left him the 50 so he could steal the star from you. That's really what I could have done, but didn't really think that all the way. I was like, I need to get some coinage. So. That would have been a deadly alliance if I did that, though. Because I would have left him enough to only either buy or steal, not both. Because now he can buy that one, but he wouldn't have had enough anyway, unless he beat me to buy and steal. He could only done one or the other, even if I didn't touch his money, right? Okay, there you go, Paul, on the board again. So still a wide open. He's only up 1 star. Anybody could take this. And the last star is down there, where Susie is.
I think I'm the closest.
You gotta hit A, Paul.
Yeah, I'm the closest. She's already past that place, I think.
I would look at the map. I don't know where to tell you to go.
Yeah, she's already passed it. I'm the closest. So you say there's a chance?
I mean, you have a warp already, so you can only use 1 item next turn, so I don't
I
know.
wouldn't buy anything, just so you have coins.
I wouldn't buy anything either, just because you need 1 more coin to buy a star in the unlikely event that somebody gets it. Well, maybe you'll land on a blue square and be able to buy some, get some. Okay, there you go. Oh, there we go.
Star.
Oh. Where are the stars at? Some BS.
Bonus minigame.
Ugh.
Oh, sorry.
Time to get man witched. Oh yeah, I forgot.
Me too. I zoned out. I zoned out. Watch, she's asleep and then she'll be up in like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Okay.
New women's tag team champs.
New women's?
Yeah.
That means Rhea Ripley's gonna win the
Elimination Chamber.
Elimination Chamber. She's gonna fight Jade Cargill. Who are the new champs?
I didn't see. It just said Logan Paul replaced Jay and something.
Logan Paul.
Replaced Jay Uso in some kind of match or something.
Oh, the Elimination Chamber?
It just says a match. Friday Night SmackDown.
Oh wait, new men's tag team champions.
I didn't read the whole thing. I'll have to look at it after this. If Paul would just take a dive, I could look at it.
No pressure.
Okay, we both won. Okay. Yeah, Logan replaces Jay in Chamber.
The women's tag team, new, said right.
Yeah, it says new champs, but it doesn't say who.
Wait, but Jay Uso.
Final turn.
No, something else happened.
Oh, and he can pick 10.
My man. It's the way it was supposed to go. And that seals the game. I'm telling you, Jamie's my kryptonite, dude.
You got a star.
Okay. Is somebody downstairs?
I have no idea.
Mario time.
You're there.
That's not what I needed. I needed to get all the way to the ghost house and I got screwed there.
Well, you'll get the most points to start.
Yeah, this doesn't help. I needed to get to the ghost house to steal the star.
If you can somehow get 2 stars.
Now she can get. You need to roll, use the double dice, yep. And go ahead and try to get 14 and buy a star.
That's true. Then you can possibly get another star or 2 in the final.
Dang.
It wasn't meant to be. Na, 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 na.
Well, he's got that belt already ready.
Na, na, na. The champ remains.
Oh! Oh!
Shit.
You make sure you pick his face. It's going to show a face in the.
Wait, he doesn't have. Oh, no, okay. So.
So look. Before you hit anything, welcome. This is the chance thing that you chose earlier in the game, about 40 minutes ago. You chose this. is going to have a person, right? In this example, it's me. And in the middle, it's an action. And on the other end is the person. So in this situation, it's saying Wario has to give Mario 3 coins.
Okay.
The arrow indicating the direction it's going. If the arrow is going this way, it would be saying I have to give him 3 coins.
Well, here's
You want to do...
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing.
Oh, no, let me finish. What you want to do is make sure you pick a star
It's harder than it sounds.
and pick him. Now, it's going to be going fast, but it starts out slow the
if you
very
want
first
the
one.
stars to switch first, you have to pick the middle one first.
Yes, the middle is going to be slow, so don't hit the left or right first. Pick a star in the middle. And if you're lucky, you can have somebody give you stars. That's what you want.
Yeah. Then you can, like, I would go for the middle first, and then worry about the sides.
Yeah. Go for the middle first. Make sure you get a star. Try your hardest to watch it and hit the star.
And you can change, like, however many stars I have to however many stars you have. But whatever I have, switches over to you. But look at the middle one first.
And you can also, you don't have to screw him deliberately. You could say, if you hit me or Paul, and we have to give you our stars, then you have 4 stars, and you're beating him because you have more coins than him.
Yeah.
Alternatively, you could still win by making anyone you pick that has to give you their stars, you win the game. But you got to make sure you get the one that says give stars. There's another one that says switch stars. And if you switch with anybody, you're still going to lose, except for him. If you switch stars with him, because all of us have 2 stars, except for him. So be no pressure, but this is how you win the game. If you do this correctly, you will win the game.
Pay attention, people.
I'm gonna try to make sure that the freaking capture card doesn't screw me over. Excuse my French.
Go to the middle first.
Wait, what do I hit?
Hold on, don't hit nothing yet.
How do I hit? How do I
The
select
A
it?
button is how you select. Don't hit nothing yet. See how it's got the arrows both ways? That means switch stars.
It can also be stars and coins.
And there's the one that has the star going to the right. There's one with the star going to the star and the coins.
Okay, which one am I picking?
You just make sure you pick one with the stars. After that, we'll worry about everything else.
Okay.
You need to hit one with stars
Okay.
with a star in it. Oh my God, I can't watch this. Oh, throw it down.
Press A at any point.
Chance time.
Okay.
You ready?
Ah!
She did some bullshit.
I
It's
did.
coins.
You got coins. Okay. Now
You just pick the people.
Who do you want to go to? Like, okay, so
So whoever you pick on the left is going to have to give coins to the person on the right.
Yeah.
Let me go here.
Give me you, man.
Probably.
So. Oh, you hit 100.
You don't even have 30 coins, so it doesn't matter.
I can't see.
yeah, it's going fast.
Ah!
Oh.
She screwed herself. Watch her pick you anyway. Give 30
Yeah.
coins to the hobby. To ice the
I
game.
can't. It went faster.
It does. That's why we wanted you to get the star first, so that you can see. Yep. I called that shit.
You did call it, man. AI, listen.
And the champ retains. Oh.
Wow. This boo. This is some bull. This is
Ooh,
bull.
look at that. Right there. Look at that. I'm your poppy.
This is some bull. But no, that deserves double boos.
Well, we don't know yet, right? 'Cause it's still not official.
It's still not official, but the chance she had to really win was right there. And it wasn't just her chance. She could have helped Paul get 2 stars from you, or me get 2 stars from you, or she could have gave us her 2 stars to help us with it. And it was some damn coins! It was some coins!
All right.
Okay.
Oh, diddums. There we go.
Oh, Jesus.
Like,
It was a nice experience.
And you got to see the whole full game pretty much. So now, Paul, you can't choke here. You can use your mushroom and get that star.
Yeah.
You need to roll like a 9.
And there's still a chance that Paul can still
Paul, you need to roll a
beat
9.
me if he gets another star. Because he's still... I mean, there's still a chance.
Well, all of us can still beat you. We would just have to get 2 stars.
Well,
from-
yeah, you'd have to get 2 stars.
Yeah.
Paul would just need 1 more star.
What if he were to get it here? Don't choose the work box. Nothing to think about. Yeah, that's what you need. You need to get a 9 on top of that. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah. Ah!
He didn't Paul things. It just happened.
I know.
It was meant to be. Do what you want, Paul. It don't matter at this point.
Paul's like, wait, let me make sure. But it's pretty much over. Oh, what a game.
Yeah.
This is
That last round.
because the last time you won, it was convincing. It was like 6
Six
stars. This one was like everybody. There was no moment in here where nobody was out of it. Since the beginning, when Paul didn't have any stars, then he climbed back in it. This is a good game.
It was long.
Well,
Yeah, I wasn't
you know,
looking
we made sure that you knew how to play.
Yeah.
We
And
could have
it
just
was
burned
shorter
through it.
compared to what we can.
And we even did it shorter than normal. He did 10 turns. We normally do 15 turns.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking of it.
You would have been asleep already. We all would have. Because 15 turns is 120 minutes.
Thank you for your patience.
10 turns is 90 minutes.
And your teacher.
Dude. Go to the... Oh, no. Shit. No.
Hold on. Is he going to be able to get to the
No.
chance time?
No, because it'd be 2, and he's got 3.
Oh, well. He could have tried to get Yoshi.
Yeah.
But that would have just been wasting more time.
Yeah, we really would have.
Final minigame.
What an exciting game. I got 2 stars with Luigi. She had a chance to get 2 stars. She actually crossed more stars than all of us, I think. Didn't she come across one and didn't have enough money?
Yeah.
And then another time she should have used the triple dice but used the double dice
Yeah.
and couldn't get it.
It could have easily been her game.
Yeah, and then the third time was the chance time. You could have got that one. Oh man, I left my controller over here.
All you gotta do is try to catch it. Same thing like the...
No, we're trying to catch
No,
her.
she's got to swim away.
She has to run away.
Oh,
We're
is
trying
that
to
it?
catch her. Yes.
Oh. Okay, well, fuck.
Wait, huh?
Better get her.
You're in the water. So
You're in the water.
You gotta-
You need to avoid the cage. See,
Oh, okay.
see the shot.
And you can't get the
The
fish.
shadow.
either.
I see
The
shadow.
shadow of that means we're going to drop it on you, but you got to watch out for them because they will stun you if you bump into them.
Okay.
So if you tap A, you can swim. The faster you press it, the faster you swim.
Oh, you better get me too. Okay. I did A. I don't see it. Okay. Oh,
We'll get. Hold on. Let's let her practice the swimming first. Just mash the A button and move the direction you want to go. So the faster you press it, the faster you swim. You getting the hang of it now?
Press it down, I think, too, right?
Yeah, mash it. Keep mashing it quicker. See, now you moving.
okay. Thank you.
So now that you got it, no mercy. We going.
Now you're a mermaid.
Oh.
You got caught.
run fast when you see the shadow.
How you
So
run
from
fast?
without
You gotta
A.
keep
Hold on.
keep
You have to keep mashing it while you're swimming.
Keep on keeping on.
Looks like we're waiting on Mario.
See, there you go. You got away from it. I'm coming to get you.
Dang, you going faster.
Well, that's because we know you know how to play it now.
Dang.
Javi is just mashing that button relentlessly.
Just in time.
Start.
Oh,
That was quick.
that's what she said. She literally said it.
Damn, you were quick. That's in a bad way.
Paul,
Get off me.
Paul, you got some explaining to do
That's
here.
it.
That's what she said.
Here, move on.
It's supposed to be my birthday.
That's not Kirby. We out too late.
Alright, there's the extras.
Alright, so Javi did his best to hold down the fort with his 4 stars to our 2 stars. This was a really good game. It was fun. There were moments where it felt
Especially
like
the last round.
it was still anybody's game. Poor Susie here was getting re-familiar with the game, and she had a lot of opportunities to change this game.
Both in Mario Kart and Mario Party. Next time you came coming down, she would be way much better.
Well, the key is consistency. She's only come here every blue moon, but if she was here regularly, she would probably be winning a lot more.
You'd be killing it.
But yeah, thank you for coming. You made it a fun game, just learning and then also rolling the dice the way you were. She had one where she rolled 10 twice.
Yeah.
That was the one she made the mistake and picked the double dice instead of triple and still got what she needed out of it.
Yeah, that's right.
That was dope. So you can see the game here. You can see how close it was most of the way. Nobody really got away until the end where Javi got his 4th star. And I blame myself for that because I should have let Paul steal a star from him. And I was only thinking about trying to win for myself. So let's see how it plays out now. Misfortune bonus. This is Susie right here.
I don't think so. I think that's Paul.
I don't think anybody landed on any red spaces.
No, you know what? You're right. It is
Susie is the one that landed on Bowser, so she should get it. Whoa! It is still Paul. So if Paul gets the next star, he wins.
You need one more, Paul. You need one more, Paul.
This would be some bullshit if he wins. Mini game bonus.
Nah, that's me.
Is that me or is it Javi?
That's me.
Mario.
Both of us.
Oh.
Damn, I got robbed. I needed one more star. One more star.
That puts me at 5 instead of 4. Champ retains.
So you're lucky it wasn't
Retains.
rich bonus. If it was rich bonus in that, I'd have had you.
This guy double check. Paul's in the background.
He is. He's in the background.
Yeah.
All right. Congratulations. So the birthday boy retains. He did lose the Mario Kart, but I guess
Mario Party.
the one that he really cares about, he retained on that one.
Well, I care about both of them, but
But you can't have everything.
This one's harder to keep. It
Is
is
it?
harder to keep. It's more of a game of chance than anything else.
Yep. Well said. All right, we're gonna see y'all in the next one. Those of you at home, like, comment, subscribe, share, dom, sub, all that stuff. Appreciate you. We're gonna see you in the next one. For myself, Vicky, Susie,
Latino eat.
I was getting to you, Paul, and then the retaining champ who's held it down for almost 2 months. Latino fucking heat.
I'm your puppy.
We will see you next week with some more Mario games.
Captain Sensation.